Now to our final segment before pick six, and then we will just kind of rank and order our top 12 Michigan basketball players this year.
Ooh.
Maybe at some point we'll break it down and go back to the Beeline era through Howard, and that'd be fun to rank some of those guys.
Yeah.
But just for this year, are we going to be unanimous on number one and go with Hunter Dickinson?
I was going to pick Franz Wagner, but that's just me.
What are you thinking?
Yeah, Hunter Dickinson.
Hunter Dickinson?
He's definitely, he has a lot of growth to do. He's still a freshman. He's got to control his body better and be a little less of a fouling liability on defense. There were just some games where, that Illinois game, he just got into foul trouble.
I will say this: without Hunter Dickinson, Michigan is not remotely what they are. No. Without Franz Wagner, and obviously if you throw Isaiah Livers not getting hurt, that they might still be
competent
4 or 5 seed, a solid team. Wagner though, Wagner is a borderline lottery pick. He was projected 14th or 13th or 14th last time I looked. So,
I think he's a better NBA prospect than his brother.
Yeah, I agree.
A
wing whose wingspan is 6'10", or his wingspan's over 7 feet. He's 6'10" now. He can shoot it.
I was going to say he shoots better than his brother too.
Yep. Yeah. I would like him. I think it'd be smart for him to stick in college another year and just refine his game. I think this about basically any freshman or sophomore that goes to the league. Sometimes you just got to refine parts of your game. You got to grow into your body a little more because he's only been this big for a year. He's been growing since now, till now. So I think he needs another year, but he could definitely be he would get picked if he went into the draft.
Oh, yeah. I think he'd be a top 15 pick right now.
I would say that probably cements him into number 2 though. At least I don't know.
I have Isaiah Livers just because
I've got Franz Wagner number 2.
But it was dead even between the two for me.
Did you have Dickinson number 2? Then we'll go with Wagner.
Yeah. I would put Dickinson at number 2, and I put Livers at 3.
Okay, and I got Livers at 3, so that probably
my whole reason behind Livers at 3 is I think, and it has nothing to do with how good he is, because I do think he's the glue that kind of brings the team together. And he soft spot for him because he's from Kalamazoo, but he's also, of the starters, the easiest guy for them to actually replace and still be a pretty good team. Just because Brandon Johns can do some things. Shawnee Brown can play the 4 if they want to go small. They can do things. Michigan can do things to still be a really good team without him. But with him, if they were fully healthy, Isaiah Livers clicking on all cylinders, they would be a threat to Gonzaga. Right now, without him, they're, we had him bowing out in the Sweet 16. So that's kind of where I'd put him now. So
well, and I really I don't think any of us would be terribly surprised if they made it.
No, I wouldn't either.
In distance of the Final Four, you know what I mean? Just because if Brown and even Wagner picks it up a little bit, and if in Johns they just make up for Livers, that's again with all the number 1 seeds in some of these top teams, I think I said it earlier, but besides Illinois, Michigan's probably the best well-rounded team.
Mm-hmm.
They don't rely on just one person leading the way. Mm-hmm. Hunter Dickinson only scored 14 points a game. No one was blowing it up, and without them, they're just hurting.
Right.
So I just, I think that I wouldn't be very surprised if they made a deep run.
No,
but
I just don't.
It's a lot to make up for.
Yeah, the way they're playing right now, coupled with the injury, I don't think they have the horses right now. But I'd put Livers at 3. That makes sense.
I have them all. If Livers was healthy, Livers would be. All 3 of these guys would be ranked in my top 30 for March Madness players.
Yeah.
So they've got talent. I don't think any. I don't know if maybe Dickinson I would pray about putting around 10 or 11, but none of them I think are top 10. But I think that's what, like you said, Isaiah, makes them a super well-rounded team.
Yeah.
All right, number 4, maybe I have a little bit of difference here, but I put Eli Brooks.
I also put Eli Brooks.
I'll put Eli Brooks there as well. Okay. Now, these are, I would say, just as far as importance goes, I would consider putting Mike Smith above him, because if they lose Mike Smith, this team could lose in the second round if Mike Smith wasn't on this team.
I actually had Mike Smith above Brooks when I first made this. I kind of took it off just because Brooks defensively just kind of puts him a little over Mike Smith for me. But
you saw how bad Michigan was when Brooks was hurt for those 2 games.
Yes, for sure.
Brooks
But
hits
like
that 3 when you needed it.
But if you look at that matchup against Maryland, like 15 assists, like you are incredibly important to a team when you're just known for assisting.
18 points, 15 assists, and no turnovers.
Like if you look at
defensive player of the year.
Yeah, if you look at like Rajon Rondo when he was on the Celtics, like, and he would score maybe like less than 20 points, but he had like 20 assists. Like it's like if you took him off that team, they're not competitive in the playoffs.
Right.
Like he was their most important player.
Creates the entire offense.
Yeah.
So that sets Mike Smith probably at 5 then, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we ranked their starting 5 in whatever order at 5. It makes sense.
If Mike Smith falls, who is next? Is that like Zeb Jackson or something?
If you got any of the guards go out, and that's why I kind of said, Livers is their most easily replaceable starter, because like, all right, if Hunter Dickinson's hurt, you can throw Austin Davis in there, but like, that's not.
Austin Davis has been effective when he plays. I don't hate Austin Davis.
I don't hate him, but like he's
so
just
bad
like
defensively. Though. He's so slow.
He's just kind of
slow. But
he's kind of lunky.
Yes. Yeah. So that's why I said like if Livers goes out, and which he has, like he's easily replaceable. But if you have a guy like Smith or Brooks go out, now you got to slide Zeb Jackson, and he's clearly just not ready.
Yeah, like Nunez. Like
Nunez, terrible idea. Terrible idea.
Who do you put at 6th? Then probably the 6th man, Shawnee Brown.
Shawnee Brown.
Yep.
All right. And then this is where we have some different. I do have Austin Davis here, but I think you can make an argument for Brandon Johns.
I have Johns Jr.
I am going to put Austin Davis here.
I have Austin Davis next.
Just because he needs to be able to play 10 minutes a game to spell Hunter Dickinson, and he's been able to for the most part. So the problem. My problem is I always yell when Austin Davis is in the game, just because he's just so slow and lumbering and sad.
But he just has those moments.
But he has something.
Dude, he just has like those flashes where they
have incredible footwork
in
the post. Even when he came into school at Michigan, he had great footwork and could always score in the post. But he was just too slow, and he's still just too slow. So he gets exposed on defense. So the best you can hope for when Austin Davis is in the game is that you just trade buckets for 5 minutes, and then you can put Hunter Dickinson back in.
Right.
So Brandon Johns at 8 then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And hopefully his impact grows, because if the team wants to make a run, he's going to have to really step up.
For sure.
I'm interested to see who you guys have at 9.
I have Terrence Williams.
I have Terrence
Williams.
Okay.
Terrence Williams is going to play more now with Livers out as well, too.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think Terrence Williams could be a bigger contributor on a lot of different teams. He's just not going to – he just doesn't have that spot on this team as much.
Well, he just doesn't get the reps.
Right.
You guys put Adrian Nunez next?
I do.
No. Adrian Nunez is terrible.
Faults?
Zeb Jackson is next. Jackson has played more minutes than Adrian Nunez, so I'm putting Zeb Jackson.
I do have Nunez.
I have Nunez as well.
This is terrible.
I don't think. Okay, after Terrence Williams though, like
it really doesn't matter after.
I don't care.
Yeah, so I'm putting Zeb Jackson because I think Zeb's like the point guard of the walk-ons when they come in.
Here's the thing with these last 3 guys, I literally just put them in order of. I put the next 3 players with the most minutes per game on the roster. So mine is Adrian Nunez, Jace Howard, Zeb Jackson.
That's kind of based on like position of need, though. Like a lot of times, how active the other starters are at the position Adrian Nunez is at.
Adrian Nunez will not see the floor unless in this postseason, unless they're winning by 30.
If you score less, all 3 of these guys have less than 1 point per game. So I really don't. I didn't decide too badly.
Which is why, like, I would say Michigan has depth in the way that they don't rely on 1 or 2 guys to just score all the time, right? They can really spread out the scoring, but they don't have depth when it comes to, like, they can't go 10 deep.
Sure.
Like, they can go 7 deep pretty easily. Yeah. And that includes Isaiah Livers. So now they're down to 6 and maybe 7 if you throw Terrence Williams in there. So they aren't like incredibly deep. And that, I don't know, that could end up being a big detriment to them this postseason, because now if a guy like Wagner gets in foul trouble,
right? Now
you're pulling your wing off the floor, you're scoring wing off the floor, and now what do you do? So
they definitely have to play pretty clean games.
Yes.
For 12, are we going to run with Baird, Faulds, or Jace Howard?
I have
CJ
Jace Howard.
CJ
Otherwise,
Baird.
you have Rico Ozuna Harrison, Brandon Wade, and Luke Wilson as well.
I like CJ Baird. He hit a couple cool threes back in the Beeline era. Last time Michigan went to the Final Four, he hit a 3 against Texas Tech.
Look at that.
Or not Texas Tech. It was Texas A&M.
Just for shits and giggles, Faulds or Jace Howard?
I mean, I guess Jace Howard because he's actually on scholarship.
But and he'll probably get better as time goes on again too.
Faulds isn't that bad. He's just extremely undersized. And I think Jace Howard, could have potential to be like a somewhat contributor down the road. And he's coach's kid, so yeah.
Yeah, he'll get his turn.
That's why I put him in my list.
I'll dig up. I did not set up